you doing? Okay, first thing, check the microphone, make sure it's on. Like how many times I speak and then I'm looking and I go, oh, that microphone is off. Wow, no one's heard me yet. All they heard was, good afternoon. Um, Today I'm going to introduce two books and a couple other things, So I'm going to refresh a little bit about yesterday. Or I said I was going to do a book a day. I'm not going to do it every day now. There's some days I'm not going to do it. I can only read so much. I'm not Superman or man, who reads fast? Maybe there should be a superhero that reads fast. That's all he does. Like, what's your powers? I'm a fast reader. So yesterday we're talking about the family game plan. If you're interested, on Victoria's book, it's Victoria Burns' book. It's up here. So we'll cover more on it detail later, and we're gonna keep moving. I'm still reading Ark's book, Tomorrow I'm probably gonna do this one. The All-Comers is part 2 now. I kind of glanced at it and it looks pretty good. It's written by several authors, I'll read it tonight. It's about that big, I do this to kids when they come in. How much for the book? I go, let me see. I go, 34 pages. I'm like, what? Today I'm going to share Sharon's book again. She's been here with us for a while. And I don't know how to do. If anybody knows how to flip, let me try something. No, it's not going to work. It's going to flip it to the screen. I thought I could flip the picture, So somebody has to show me how to do that. I'm also looking, before I start, someone that knows how to do video, because I'm going to do my YouTube channels coming up. And I know I posted this before and someone's going to help me, but I get so much work. And then sometimes it's hard for me to answer, And just to let you guys know, I'll open up for the public a little bit. And if it looks like there's no crowd coming in today because of Palm Sunday, I'm going to shut down too soon. I just came in to make sure that I support you guys, if you're coming in. But I will shut down early because I want to spend the time with my wife too, on Palm Sunday. But I'm here. I'm okay because I get some stuff done and read. It's not like I'm working. I'm like just sitting here and eating a banana, So, anyway, so the cry no one heard. Okay, so I read this a couple times, and every time I read it, I catch more information. Very, very, very good book. It's a rude awakening on our society of young kids getting molested and raped at a young age. And she talks in the thing about Sharon is like very brave. That she illustrates her story on a personal level, and she's not using a story from somebody else that got raped or anything. She's sharing her own experience, and it's very emotional because reading her book and knowing that she was 5 years old and when she was raped, and I don't want to tell the whole story, like I want you to read the book, but she was raped from her uncle and her mom's boyfriend, and then she had a abusive relationship with her mother, and she's struggling to find her way through life, and at one point she actually, she blames God, and she wants to know why God is not here, and that's a question a lot of Christians are challenged with, that one question. Oh, if God God was real, then why does he let people die with cancer? Why does he let people suffer? And I said, well, it's not God that's actually causing the cancer. There's things that's been investigated, and man is actually involved doing a lot of things, but for some reason, that point of life when you're struggling. For some reason, we always blame God. And even when I wasn't Christian, I show respect to those who were Christian. And it's hard to understand that, but today's society, a lot of them if they're not Christian, they just look down on Christians, which I was never like that. I mean, I just didn't believe. And if somebody said, "Oh, I'm Christian, will you let me pray?" Oh yeah, I'll sit here. Yeah, I had no problem. It's like, but I did that for a lot of religions, and they come in, I just show a form of respect. But just because I don't believe doesn't make me the authority to tell people, what I believe. But I don't tell people, like, I don't approach them and tell them you're wrong. But when they do ask me the questions, I answer them. I tell people why I believe in God. And I had a hard life too. My life was not a good life, and I would never ever recommend it for anybody. Like, I would never want anyone to uh, wear my shoes as a young kid growing up in gang infested area and watching people die nonstop. I don't even know how many bodies I seen, how many dead people growing up. But you get immune to it, and then you come out of it very strong. But at the end, we start blaming God. And Sharon, in her book, a very touching book, she's going through that phase, and kids being abused. I mean, can you imagine being 5 years old when some man, uncle that that you're supposed to trust does this? I mean, it's unbelievable. And she's not holding back. She's actually telling you everything that's happening, in this book. And I think that this should be shared with everybody. Like, everybody should read this book, even if you're not gonna buy it. I think somebody should just pick it up, and it's the cry no one heard, and it's gonna open your eyes to know how bad these things are happening. We hear it all the time. Every time I turn the TV on, some young girl was getting raped or some young boy, and it really bothers me. Like, I think I'm really tough. Everybody says, "Well, you're pretty strong," but the thing that gets me the most is when children are hurt, and when I hear the news and some kid gets hurt or something, that really tears me up, and it's just, and I just can't control it. I wish I could do something, but I can't do anything except get knowledgeable. And her book just goes in detail of the stuff she had to go through. But back to blaming God, she's asking God why you're not there, and so a lot of people would sit and blame God, right? But the crazy part of it is that God actually knows that you're going to blame him. He knows that you're going to say it's his fault. You're not there, God, but in reality, he understands. And the crazy part about all this, that at the end of it, he forgives you still for believing that you hate him, you're mad at him. And it's a beautiful thing that at the end, no matter how you feel, that he's going to still be there for you. And that's what I get from it. From, when I turned my life around, I was a drunk. I didn't care about anything. I fought so many fights. I had so many fights. It's like coming up. And at the same time, I was a nice guy. Like, I'm fighting, I'm a nice guy. And the Marines, and because I grew up in a rugged, rough neighborhood, and that's what happens. You're trying to be nice, and then you have no choice. You're either going to fight or, I'm a boy, and, and Sharon was a woman. And, growing up, dealing with this, and it's a very touching story, and every time I read it, imagine being 5 and trying to find her why God's not there, and she's asking God, that's emotional, for a young girl growing up and having an abusive parent, and who do you turn to, and she's here writing her story. Very, very good book. It makes me now, after I read her book, that I'm going to, after I keep making up, that I'm going to donate a lot of money to these organizations, when they need it, or do something. It's not money, but it's something I can do to help out, And I don't think anyone should be hurt like her, But she's gonna be here on May 3rd, and I'm really promoting her her abusive program this whole month. Stop the child abuse for this whole month, but it should be for the whole year. No kid should be hurt this way. The way she writes her book is crazy, you know. I got customers. Uh, I'll be a little bit quiet. I'm doing my video. That's okay. No, that's good. Just wanted to let you guys know. Welcome to the store. All right. Yeah. So no. So when she went through this, it's a very good book. Now Sharon only not just helps out; it's also a counselor herself now, and she talks from experience. So like I said, she doesn't use certain books. You know, like I mean, she does. She's from experience. You know, and she struggled, but now she's full, like, um, you know, into Christ now. You know, and she leaves these cards on the table. You know, if you want to read it. Now she's actually starting a. One day I'm going to learn how to turn this camera around. Somebody's got to come and slap me and go, hey, how do you turn it around? I can take it. You know. The newsletter, she has a newsletter every month. You're welcome to pick it up. And it tells you all the way to cope with abusive stuff, you know. And from exercising to journalizing to writing your stuff down, you know. We all grow up different, right? Like journalizing, I never grew up like doing the journals or doing this kind of stuff, right? I used to run growing up. That's what you probably heard me a couple of times. I started running at the age of maybe 14, and I would run because I wanted to get away from the stuff that was happening to me, like all the, you know, I had to join a gang. I didn't join it. I fought the gangs, and if you don't join, oh God, you have no idea. But I rebelled against all that. I rebelled against all this stuff, and I was just a different guy, you know. Like I would not join, and I knew there had to be another way out. A lot of my family members were in prison, and nobody graduated from high school, and I wanted it to end, you know. So when I did all that and I continued moving, I ended up finding a way to get out of it. And once I got out of it, I joined the Marines, and you know, and I was still dealing with a lot of stuff, you know, and so that was one way of doing it, was running, exercising, getting my mind. You know, my dad wanted me to be a boxer at a young age, joined the Golden Gloves. We lived with next to some boxers named Tony Ayala, Mike Ayala, and those are boxers back in the day. They were like the Mike Tysons of the Latino world, right? And so we were growing up next to them. My dad would cut their hair. He was a barber, you know. But Sharon actually wrote a journal way to journalize all your stuff going in here using scriptures, and it's a productive way to deal with anything you're going through. You know, like I said, it's like you're going through this as a child, and children are constantly hurt. And she writes this book on the hurt, the crying no one heard, and she's a really inspiration. We have become friends, and I'm just so glad that she came into our lives. And my wife and I so glad to see her with the rest of the authors that are here. They're very inspirational. I read all their books, and you can't ever get another book like that. You're not gonna see a movie. There's no movie on it. There's no fame on it. It is just their story. You know, so it's just great to know that they're here. And that's why I'm pushing their books on May 3rd. And I'm going to do a lot for them because they have something to share. You don't have to buy them. You can come and meet them. But that's what I wanted to do, present them today. A very good book. Thank you, Sharon. And thank you for the other authors who are watching us. And I appreciate you. I see you tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to do the Overcomers Anthology. I'm reading it. And it's already getting me. I'm like, wow, this is interesting. I like this, you know. So, and it's actually written by more authors than one. And of course, you know, we have Marquita Green, who's representing them. When she comes through, you'll meet her, you know. But guys, I appreciate you. Thank you. Have a great Palm Sunday. This is what they say, the palm. Remember they waved the palms when Jesus was walking, coming back, you know. That's what we did at church today, the palm. Anyway, that's a joke. All right, thank you guys. Appreciate you.